Hey guys, welcome back to my channel if you've been here before, and if you haven't, welcome to my channel. So I decided that I wanted to try my best to create a tag that I could do, and hopefully that other people will want to join in on. I have looked around online to see if anyone else has done a similar tag to this one. I wasn't able to find anything. So if my tag does sound familiar, or if it sounds close to something that someone else has already created, then please feel free to comment with the person's original video, and I will happily check it out and give them credit where credit is due. But as far as I am aware, I haven't seen one like this so far online. So this is the Favorite Tarot Deck 2 tag. So how this works is I have a list of things, and for each one of those things I have a favorite tarot deck that I like to do those things with. So for example, the first one is my favorite tarot deck to do personal readings with, and then for that I have the lovely Radiant Wise Spirit Tarot deck. So this one is my favorite deck to do personal readings with because I just really connected with this deck really quickly. So I definitely have a strong connection with it. I love the imagery, I love the colors used within the deck. So, and I never get tired of using this deck, like, at all. So when I do personal readings for myself, I will usually, most of the time, reach for the Radiant Wise Spirit. The next one is my favorite tarot deck to do readings for other people with, and that would be the Modern Witch Tarot. So only recently have I noticed that I'm actually reaching for this one a lot more when I do readings for other people. There was a time when I wasn't really using this deck a whole lot, but I feel like it's a good one to do readings for others with because it is very relatable. I feel like anyone that you read for can definitely see themselves in this deck somewhere. It's definitely very modern. It lives up to its name. It's definitely with the times. It's a very diverse deck. People like it, you know, when they see things that they can relate with in their everyday lives, like listening to music or being on your phone, just hanging out with your friends and having a good time, writing things down on your computer. Like, these are all things that people can relate to in their lives. So I feel like when I use a deck like this and other people see themselves in it, and it helps too if they're not familiar with tarot, because the imagery is really good. Like, they can even see kind of like what's going on in the imagery, or it's not really difficult for them to keep up with what you're trying to tell them because a lot of it they can see within the cards themselves. Next is my favorite tarot deck to learn with, and that would be the Radiant Rider-Waite Tarot. So I love learning with this one because the imagery is very clear. It's similar to the other Rider-Waite-Smith decks out there, but I just really like how the imagery looks within this deck. So I'm still getting, because I like learning with the RWS cards and style. So using the Radiant, it's exactly that, but the imagery to me is just, it's a bit more clear. I like the feeling of the cards, I like the size of the cards. It's just a very comfortable deck for me to use, and especially when I was doing courses, a lot of the times within the courses they would use the RWS, so I guess I'm just used to learning with this deck, but I do enjoy using it on a daily basis. I use it quite often, not even just when I'm learning. Sometimes when I'm just doing like maybe general posts and stuff for Instagram, I definitely will use this deck for that as well. But I do find myself using the Radiant Wise Spirit guidebook a lot when I'm learning, and I will use that guidebook even if I'm not using those cards. So I could be using the Radiant cards, but I will still reach for the Radiant Wise Spirit guidebook to help me out. Next is my favorite tarot deck to shuffle, and for me that is the Everyday Witch deck. So I love these cards. The imagery is phenomenal. The cards are so smooth to use, and it's borderless also, which I'm a huge fan of, but for shuffling purposes, they're really light cards, and they're perfect for the days that maybe I don't even want to do any readings and I just want to shuffle, because shuffling for me, it's very relaxing, it's calming. So this is one of my go-to decks just because it is so smooth. The cards fit perfectly in my hands, and because they are glossy, it does make them easier to shuffle with. Next we have favorite tarot deck to look at, and I not only just like to look at this deck, I like to use it also. But this is a stunning deck. The Lightseers Tarot is so beautiful, and I think a lot of us can agree with that. The imagery is outstanding. It's so pretty. The colors are insane. And this is also a really good deck to learn with as well, at least for me, because the guidebook is also really good. But in the imagery, it's very easy to see kind of what the card is representing. But I just think that these cards are so pretty. This is my go-to deck where if I just want to, just similar to the Everyday Witch, if I just want to chill and relax, the imagery in this deck is definitely good for doing that. It's so realistic, definitely gives off a very calming and warm vibe, at least in my opinion. Yeah, I think definitely one of the best decks that I have seen so far from an imagery standpoint. It also has other perks too. It's great for doing readings with, and like I said, the guidebook is also really good as well. Next is favorite tarot deck to carry with me. So I actually don't really carry a deck with me all the time. It really depends on where I'm going. But I feel like if I were to have one on me all the time, it would probably have to be this little pocket deck here because it is a mini deck. It's the only mini deck that I have, so it kind of makes it perfect for travel purposes. I feel like that would probably be more so once I'm more familiar with the cards and I don't really rely on the imagery as much to help me out, because these cards are very simple. There isn't a whole lot going on with them in the imagery. They are cute, they're very cute, and I do enjoy them. And yeah, like I said, it is a mini deck, so if we look at the cards, it's quite small. They're like the palm of my hand. But yeah, because of that though, it definitely would make them good for traveling with. And last but not least is favorite tarot deck to do shadow work with. So for that, I had to go with the Shadowland Tarot deck. Not only is this deck super cute, but it was created for shadow work, so hence Shadowland Tarot. So that makes it kind of a perfect reason to choose this deck. I bought this deck with doing shadow work in mind because I haven't actually tried it out yet, and I heard that this deck is very good for that. But also the guidebook for this deck is phenomenal. It is probably the best guidebook that I have in my collection so far. It is very well put together. There is a lot of information in it, and it's also easy to read and follow along with and understand. So that's always a biggie with me. So yeah, especially because I'm going to be using it for doing shadow work, which is something I've never done before. The fact that I have a really good guidebook to help me out with that and to go along with these really awesome cards for that kind of work, yeah, it just makes it that much more better. So yeah, those were all the ones that I was able to come up with. For the people who are going to be doing this tag, please feel free to add any others that you have favorite decks that you like to do specific things with. Yeah, if you wanted to add those to the list and kind of expand as it goes, I would love to see that happen. And feel free to use the hashtag favtarotdeckto because I would really love to see your guys' responses. So there you have it. I really hope you enjoyed this video. It was my first tag, so I hope it went well and I hope you guys liked it. And feel free to subscribe if you'd like to stick around a little bit longer and see some of my upcoming content. I would greatly appreciate it. And I shall see you in the next one.